Around 931 BC, after reigning for 40 years, King Solomon died. Following his demise, Rehoboam and Jeroboam left indelible marks on ancient Israel. Now, Rehoboam, who was the son of King Solomon and grandson of King David, inherited the throne of the United Kingdom of Israel upon his father's passing. However, his reign was marred by his refusal to alleviate the heavy taxation and forced labor imposed by his father, King Solomon. Now, this decision sparked a rebellion led by Jeroboam, a servant of the court of Solomon known for his talent and ambition. Now, Jeroboam emerged as the leader of the 10 northern tribes of Israel during Rehoboam's reign, spearheading the revolt against Rehoboam's rule and ultimately becoming the inaugural king of the northern kingdom of Israel, leaving Rehoboam as the king of the southern tribes of Judah and Benjamin. Now, Jeroboam's reign, however, was fraught with the fear of losing his people's allegiance to the southern kingdom of Judah, which was the home to God's temple in Jerusalem. Now, to prevent this, Jeroboam erected golden calves for worship in the northern kingdom, placing one in Dan in the far north and the other at Bethel in the south, declaring these golden calves as God's or the people's new gods. Jeroboam led the northern kingdom into idolatry, straying from God's commandments and leading to the spiritual decline of northern Israel. Meanwhile, Rehoboam assumed kingship over the southern kingdom of Judah, named after the larger of the two tribes. Now, sadly, under his rule, the people reverted to detestable practices prevailing among the Canaanites who were previously the inhabitants of the promised land. These two rulers, Rehoboam and Jeroboam, set the stage for a succession of leaders, 19 in Israel and 20 in Judah, many of whom committed evil in the eyes of the Lord. All the kings of northern Israel were either wicked or very wicked, notably King Ahab and his wife Queen Jezebel. Now, Judah was no exception. Apart from Hezekiah and Josiah, most of the leaders were either weak or extremely wicked. Now, Queen Athaliah's wickedness complements those of King Ahab in the north. Now, despite facing military threats from the neighboring powers, the nation experienced economic prosperity. However, this prosperity was tainted by alliances with Assyria and Egypt, which led to the adoption of foreign gods and worship practices. Now, even the priests were too close to the establishment to provide an objective voice, warning them to turn back from their decay. So, in response to the deteriorating spiritual state, the Lord God had to dispatch countless prophets with warnings to both kingdoms. God sent Elijah, Elisha, Amos, and Hosea to Israel, and Obadiah, Joel, Isaiah, Micah, Jeremiah, Zephaniah, Habakkuk, Daniel, and Ezekiel to warn Judah. Now, regrettably, the nation chose to disregard God's prophets and listen to the false prophets instead, who told the nation what they wanted to hear, leading the nation down the path of idolatry, social injustice, and spiritual decay. Now, this shift fostered a detestable society with decaying spirituality, where the privileged exploited the poor and the marginalized, creating a community with social injustice that is fueled by greed and pride. Now, this was the state of the kingdoms when God sent his prophets to a divided nation.